Hello, welcome to Girl, Dad, and Popcorn. Girl to one dad, dad to two girls, popcorn to the whole nation who loves it. Was that good impression? Did y'all get it?
I really didn't get
It
it.
was like, father to...
Okay.
No?
All right.
Okay. But seriously, you all, welcome to Girl, Dad, and Popcorn. I'm Girl.
And I am Daddy O.
So today we're going to be comparing Gladiator I to Gladiator II, darling. We're going all the way there. We're bringing out the swords, we're bringing out the arrows, we're bringing out the horses.
All of that.
I just feel like I have to do the accent for it. You know what I
All
mean?
of that.
Like, how amazing were those accents? It was amazing.
All of that.
But both movies were filmed by, well, not filmed, but directed by Ridley Scott. So he did the first one in 2000 and the second one in 2024, which is a 24-year gap. So we just want to balance the two, see which one was given which one do we like more,
Right.
and a little rating for the second one because we haven't done that yet.
That's right. That's right. And I'll add that Ridley Scott is 87 years old.
Insane.
The screenwriter for Gladiator II is David Scarpa, along with Peter Craig. And for the original film screenwrite for Gladiator I, it was David Frazzoni, John Logan, and William Nicholson. I hope I didn't mess up David Franzoni. That sounds like his.
It sounds like it's right.
So you're talking about Gladiator. You want to talk about Gladiator 2?
Okay, I just need to shout out Jante Yates. Like, she was a costume designer for this one. And all I have to say is just 10 out of 10. I feel like one of the best characters in Gladiator 2. Denzel, we love you, but the clothes were their own character.
Wow.
The way they were flowing, the way he was going, it was just amazing. And also David Crossman as well. He helped with the costume, but he did more of the military costumes. And according to Vogue, they did 2,000 costumes. Artisan made like costumes. Like it's insane. It's insane. But I just feel like it was just so beautiful. The queen and how she was dressed. It was the emperors. I just feel like Yates did such a phenomenal job when it came to the costume to this. And it was breathtaking. And she got an Oscar for the costume when she did 2000. So we'll see what happens this year coming February. I think that's when the Oscars are, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the cinematography was done by the same, by John Matheson. He did the original 2000 and he did also this film, 2024. So, yeah. And John Matheson, he's brilliant. He's been doing this a while. It's known in the industry that he prefers to get the look right on set rather than correcting it in post-production.
His editors must love him.
Yep. And he did Doctor Strange currently. He did the Multiverse of Madness. Amazing work with the fight scenes, the naval warfare in the Coliseum, just the cinematography, the sharks, all of that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start comparing the first one to the second one.
So,
how are you feeling? Give a little background to them.
Okay.
Because honestly, for Gladiator 1, my only association with Gladiator 1 was just like as a kid, I would just walk in and like see my dad like watching a film with like people fighting, and then
So
I watched it and I loved it.
I am a huge Gladiator like junkie fan. When it first came out, I saw the film probably about 30 times in 1 year.
That's crazy.
I would just watch it over and over again. It was such a iconic film, historic epic film about a Roman general who seeks revenge against the emperor who murdered his family and sent him into slavery. Before I even get into the film, just the Academy Awards they won that year. Best Picture, Best Actor, Costume Design, Sound, Visual Effects, Edited Film, cinematography. It was just an amazing film, an amazing story. It was one of those films, classic. It will be, I would say it is a classic. And Gladiator it was in the culture. Even in hip hop culture, are you entertained? Several hip hop, several hip hop artists use that line in their music. I know Jay-Z was one, and just such a great film. I mean, from the beginning when they were fighting Germania, and the line from even him looking down at this dog that was about to go to war with him,
He was ready.
just his, and I realized, I went back and watched this film. I hadn't seen it in quite some years because I
Yeah.
wore it out. But I realized that it really edified me as a man. It was pivotal just
Yeah.
watching. I mean, Russell Crowe, he did such an amazing job, and his
Ooh,
passion and
yes.
his Maxima's love for his men, his commitment, his faithfulness, his he was just that dude. You know what I'm saying? Pertaining to character.
Even when he like talked bad about his dead wife, he didn't even choose to fight him in that moment. He just looked at him and just turned around. You know how
Yeah.
many people would have been like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, and the acting was just amazing.
Phenomenal.
When he found his wife and his son,
Yeah.
and the just how he cried and wept, and he buried him. It was just, you can go on and on through that film.
Yeah.
The just the iconic scene, when he finally revealed himself. I rewind that back so many times when Commodus was like, "Don't you turn your," we did it on the short,
Yeah.
"Don't you turn your back," then slave, and how
Yeah.
he turned around. He was like, Maximus, Decimus Meridius, and husband to a murdered son, and father to a murdered son, and husband
Husband to a
to a.
murdered wife.
It was so many epic just lines in that movie. And to come out with a Gladiator II, to stand on the shoulders of that film, it was just a difficult task. Very difficult task. So me being a original Gladiator fanatic, this Gladiator II, I would say it had entertainment value in it. But in 2000, people were going to the movie theater that summer. People wanted to see the carnage of what took place in Rome, in the Colosseums. Those scenes that Matheson did, the cinematography in Gladiator I, when they came to Rome,
Yeah.
it had that biblical feel, like a story of Joseph or something, being betrayed, and then, revenge, and all of this, it was just so epic. And this Gladiator 2, it was difficult shoulders to stand on. And that's why I'm pretty tough on this film. I think Denzel did Denzel, and Denzel could, when you're just a great, like, I'll use basketball for example. He was in a great film with Spike Lee, He Got Game. It's like a great basketball player, like a Michael Jordan. You could take Mike to a kind of a rundown basketball court, or a goal that's kind of bent, and Mike gonna still ball out. And I'm talking about Mike when he was Mike. Or you could take him to a professional court. So Denzel's gonna ball out in acting wherever he is. I just wasn't crazy about the screenwriting. I think, again, Denzel did well, but Denzel gonna do good whatever you put him in.
Yeah.
He was the draw to me in Gladiator 2. I wasn't crazy about the fight scenes, because you had the monkeys, you had people on rhinos. They were inside a coliseum doing a naval battle. Again, it just didn't have that original feel that the first film had, with the carnage in Rome and the coliseums when they were fighting. It was so raw. Just so raw. So I think from an entertainment, I think for the original people like myself who love Gladiator 1, I would say this film is a 1. I would say don't see it. go check it out, maybe when it comes out on television or something. But for people who've never seen Gladiator, I think there is an entertainment value to it. You know, you will be entertained. You know, will you be entertained? Or
I
am
was
I
I
going
was
to?
entertained. I
So
was
I think there is an
entertained.
entertainment. It's kind of like going to a WWE, you know, going to see some entertainment. The first film was some straight up real Muhammad Ali versus Frazier. Some Muhammad Ali, the rope-a-dope fight. It was the original, you know, it was real, real. That's just my take on this film. So I would tell people that want to get entertained, you know, that's never seen the original, hey, I may give it a 1.5 or 2 and say reluctantly see it. But those who love the original film, I would say I would give it a 1. That's just my take.
See, with me, like, I watched Gladiator I the first time this year. Well, the first time all the way through. Like, I feel like I would see parts of it growing up, but this was the first time, like, I actually sat down and watched it. And it was just, it was phenomenal. I have so many quotes on my phone where I'm just like, I am Maxima, Maxima. But
Maximus Decimus Meridius.
literally. And so like, but I feel like for me with just watching it this year and then watching the second one, I really enjoyed the second one. I would give,
Okay.
because we have a scale 1 to 4 and we'll put it down below how we rate everything. But I would tell people 3, eagerly go see it because I love this. I just really loved how this was such a coming to age film of seeing how Lucius went from being someone who had to run off after, you know, his father was killed and then the emperor was killed and everyone was like, okay, well, we know who this crown is going for, like going to. And so his mother had to send him off, and for him to come back into his identity. For me, what really, like, I literally wept at this one part where the person who was doing the medicine, and he had his father's ring, and he was like, I want you to go to the men who are out in the field, and he was like, and I want you to tell them to get ready. And he was like, who should I say is like sending me? And he was just like, tell him it's Lucius, the prince of Rome. And it was like the first time that he stepped into his identity of who he is, and his identity unlocked opportunities for him. And so I feel like for me, the way I watched Gladiator 2 was like kind of like seeing myself, you know, like within it. And but I completely understand what you're saying because Gladiator 1 was so iconic. And when you have something iconic that like literally just like changes your life for 24 years, and then you have this new movie that comes out, I can so see that. So I feel like if I would have grew up watching that film, maybe I'll have a different take. But being someone who watched Gladiator 1 to Gladiator 2, I loved it. I love the way that Denzel's character, like, it confused me a little bit at the end when he started to get kind of like, you know, a little, because I felt like he was for us, but he wasn't for us.
Oh
He was
yeah.
for himself. And
Yeah.
so it was just really interesting with that. Love the wardrobe, love and just seeing Lucius come into his identity, who he is. So for me, I would say that I did like the first one more than the second, but it's like this to me.
Yeah.
It's giving that to me.
I get it. I get it. And yeah, I get that. One line I would say from this movie that really, that the line that grabs and just grabbed my heart was the line, the greatest victory lies, the greatest victory is when you don't become like the one who injured you. That is
Literally.
so powerful when you think about that. Greatest victory, you know, is not becoming like the one that injured you. And another big prop before we leave out, I just think that Hans Zimmerman and Lisa Gerard and the soundtrack in that first film,
Oh my goodness.
the sound was married to the lines. Again, that one epic scene when they was in a Coliseum and he revealed himself to Commodus and revealed the general came back to Rome. The music, the soundtrack, and the lines were married. It was
Yeah.
like, when I watch it, you know, and I'm a musician, so just Dun, dun, dun. It was just
Yeah,
amazing.
it
And
was.
I think that Harry Gregson Williams, I'm sorry, Williams, he did a decent job
Mm-hmm.
on the score, but Zimmerman is just kind of like, man, Hans Zimmerman, he's
Yeah.
like, and John Williams, them guys are like the Michael Jordans of the score
Mm-hmm.
and the world of sound and stuff like, well, scores and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what it is. And so that's the beauty
Yeah.
of movie reviews. It's going to be times that
Hey.
you give a 3 or 4. It's times
Yeah.
I give a 1, and it's a contrast. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I think Gladiator II was entertaining.
Yeah.
But I would say that Gladiator I was epic.
Not with the C like
Yeah,
that.
epic.
Oh my
You
goodness.
heard that? Epic.
Come on. Well, y'all, thank you so much for
Epic
joining.
versus entertaining. So you can't say entertaining like entertaining, but you say epic.
Entertaining sounds a little bit like
It
entertaining.
sound entertaining sound
Like
kind of soft.
chitlins.
Entertaining. But the first movie was epic.
That is a little scary.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
it.
It was.
But y'all, thank you so much for joining us on Girl, Dad, and Popcorn. This was Girl,
And I am Dad.
and we hope you enjoyed your popcorn and your time with us.